I held a conference with my family to inform them that I am sick and may not have much time left. My brother and his wife decided it was a good time to announce their pregnancy and are furious. A little backstory: my brother and I are really close, but his wife and I are not. We've experienced our fair share of conflict. Anyway, I became ill in the middle of May but postponed getting checked out due to COVID and safety concerns. When June began, I decided to go check it out. It became out that it was stage 2 breast cancer. I decided to tell my family 2 days earlier that lockdown laws had been abolished, so I invited them all over. When I told my brother and his wife, he said it was fine because he too had news to share. So our family assembled and my brother chose to go first. He did ask, and he told me that his wife is 4 months pregnant. Of course, everyone was ecstatic. After about an hour, they inquired about my news, and I realized it was likely the last time I'd see everyone in person for a long time. So I told them, and the initial happy atmosphere dissipated. The rest of the evening was spent supporting me, with little attention paid to my brother and his wife. My brother didn't appear to mind because he was devastated by my news, but I noticed his wife was agitated and walled off. So I approached her and apologized for the timing of it all. She told me I could have waited a little longer and Skyped everyone with the news because it was only stage 2, allowing my brother and her to share this moment with their family. I told her I arranged this meeting for this very purpose, and she replied she was aware, but I knew my announcement would dampen everyone's spirits. So I told her she was being stupid, and I wanted to inform my family in person because they were my family after all. She fell into tears and demanded to go home, which my brother agreed to despite his confusion. He promised to come see me soon because he lives close to me. Later that evening, I receive a message from him asking if I told his wife that she is not a member of the family, and that I purposefully focused the emphasis on me because that is what she is concerned about. Also, the next day my parents called to check on me, and my mother remarked that my brother's wife had called yesterday evening, furious, telling them what I said and claiming I was envious because she was pregnant and I was attempting to ruin her life. I informed my parents what happened and what I truly said, which generated friction not just between his wife and myself but also between my parents and her. She's now blaming me for my parents not being her biggest admirers. My brother is torn but has tried to talk to her, which has resulted in more tears and a strain on their marriage. All of this turmoil makes me wonder if I should have phoned everyone or simply informed my brother that his news would have to wait, even though that would have been selfish of me. I genuinely wanted my family's support that day, but I'm starting to wonder if it was worth all the fuss and perhaps generating further difficulties. So, Reddit, AITA, edit. Wow, I didn't expect to get that much positive reaction, and I suppose I was a little hesitant to upload it. Thank you for your unnerving support, love, and hugs. I have read and continue to read every single comment, and I sincerely appreciate it. I will absolutely fight through. Thank you all so much. I just wanted to add a few points. When my brother told me he had news, he was quite excited and added just by the way, I'll announce mine too. He did apologize, and later admitted that if he had known what my news was, he would have held off on his own because my recuperation is what is most important right now. He also stated that he incorrectly expected that my news would always be positive. I'm usually the cheerful, upbeat one. His wife didn't like it either. My brother's wife endured a miscarriage earlier this year, so this pregnancy was extra special. I'm so thrilled for them. I just hope she understood, as one commenter pointed out, that this is not a competition. I'm not sure why I couldn't tell him over the phone. We were quite close, and I knew it would have crushed him. I couldn't steal him away at the gathering either because he was the last to come, and when he did, he just asked, "Hey OP, mind if I go first?" And I was frozen on the spot, so I said yes. Also, I'm being very foolish. It is difficult to describe the sensation of being completely frozen and unable to speak due to a large lump in your throat. However, breaking the news was quite tough at first. Edit. Just to clarify, I'm not a saint, but my brother means a lot to me. It's exactly why his wife and I had previously cleared the air since I wouldn't want to make his life miserable by irritating her. So, when I noticed she was angry, I approached her, and when she told me I could have Skyped, I replied, I wanted to tell them in person because they are my family and they would probably want to be there with me when I broke the news. I never intimated that she was not a part of it. My parents and brother are aware of this. Update. I apologize for the lateness. A lot has transpired in the month after the news broke, and since I've had so much support from Reddit, I thought it was only fair to let you all know what happened. First and foremost, I've begun therapy, which is one of the reasons I couldn't update earlier. Thank you everybody for your good wishes. I intend to bounce back as quickly as possible. Anyway, I could see my brother was stressed, so I finally sat him down to talk about it properly. He showed me a slew of texts from his wife telling him he's a bad father for preferring me over his children. She claimed I was looking for attention, and no one cares about her. One thing that struck me was when she warned him to make a final decision, and if he chooses me, he will lose both her and his child. If he chooses her, she does not want me in their lives at all. I felt terrible, not only for him, but also because I knew I could have stopped it all. I apologized for putting him in this situation, and if I had just pulled him aside sooner and informed him, he would have understood. should. Brother advises me not to apologize since he should have been more considerate. He also stated that his wife would have probably been upset with him regardless of whether they gave the news that day. So I decided to bring her over for coffee to discuss everything. I spoke with her alone. I asked her about everything. She was quite icy and didn't respond. So I began by apologizing if I made her feel excluded from the family or that her pregnancy was any less important. I said that I should have given them a heads up so we could have avoided what had happened entirely, that it was my fault and that I was deeply sorry. However, I also indicated that the manner she reacted, including lying, was unacceptable. She then began crying and venting about how angry she had been, how my brother had always placed me first, and how they had lately been going through a difficult time, and how when he sided with me, it made her even more depressed and lonely. She revealed that she lied to my parents and brother in the hopes that they would be more sympathetic, and when they were cold to her, she became even more unhappy. After hours of discussion, she apologized for how she has acted and would like us to move on from this. My brother arrived later, and they both headed home. He texted me that they had spoken for hours and consented to couple therapy. My parents are currently living with me and are quite helpful, but they are not yet thrilled with my sister-in-law despite their pledge to try to work things out. Things appear to have calmed down, and we can only hope that this continues. None of this would have been possible without the feedback you all provided, and I am grateful for that. To clarify, I am not a saint or a selfless person. I understand that what transpired was not totally my fault. However, in order to concentrate exclusively on my rehabilitation, I cannot be stressed out about the entire issue and have all of this strain about seeing my brother put in that situation, and my SIL, as harsh as she was, being outraged and harboring resentment, can have an impact on both herself and the kid. I did everything I could to make things right so that everyone could focus on being healthy and positive while carrying no grudges. I am sure I will. I know my sister-in-law. She can be very stubborn and unreasonable, and I'm 99% certain that if I had left matters in her hands, the outcome would have been far worse than if I had presented the facts firsthand. At least now, I can concentrate on my healing without worry or poison. I am human. I got enraged. I was upset. Yeah, I wanted to tell her off, but doing so isn't going to help me, her, my brother, or my family. It's only going to make things worse. This insight inspired me to let go of everything and focus on happiness, as well as my mental and physical wellness.